this is Dwyane Haskins' year to show that he's a franchise quarterback and that he can play in this league, actually, because I've been looking at all these mock drafts. The Washington football team next year are expected to select another quarterback in Trey Lance that played for North Dakota State. I don't want that to happen because I think Dwyane Haskins can play in this league. And I think with the cast he got in Terry McLaurin and Steven Sims, I think them two right there, they gonna be something to watch in the future. But this is definitely his time to show that he can play in this in a football league. But Chase Young, he's the number one starter. He's gonna be phenomenal, man. I'm gonna be real honest with Trey. I expect him to at least have like 12 sacks for a rookie. I think he's gonna be phenomenal. He's so strong and so fast off that line. Like it just gonna be right there. And the players he's playing, like the offensive line he's playing against the Ravens offensive line, even the Steelers, even the Browns. I think it's just gonna be amazing watching. Okay, I'm moving on. Let's talk about I'm gonna talk about the New York Giants. Now they got a Monday Night Football game against the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's gonna be their test with Danny Dimes and Saquon Barkley to set the tone for the NFC East. But I don't really got much saying in that because they right there they got to prove they got an inexperienced coach, but they got a proven offensive coordinator in Jason Garrett, so he can probably scheme up something that can help them at least get through the season. But I think Saquon should be phenomenal this season. He's healthy. Daniel Jones, he's learned a lot. You know, he had the most fumbles for a rookie last season. I think that should get better. And for the defense, the James Bradbury, you signed them for a 15-year, made him a top 10 highest paid corner. So you want to see what that defense is going to be about. It's very scary. But I'm going to move on, go to the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, they won the division last year. And, you know, I was saying last year the Cowboys going to beat the Eagles in week 14 or 15, and you had the Eagles coming out because Carson Wentz is better than Dak Prescott. And believe it or not, Dak Prescott is a top 5 quarterback in this 2020 upcoming season, and Carson Wentz is
not
the top 10 of quarterbacks because he's not durable a lot. He's not durable. He's not durable enough to be on the field. He's been hurt in practice, and you've been seeing that hoopla. Jalen Hurts moment might show up. But Carson Wentz, he has to prove to his team and himself that he needs to stay healthy because, believe it or not, I like that team. I like Miles Sanders. I like what they bring to the table. Regardless, they lost Lane Johnson. They lost their best offensive lineman right there. So that's going to be a question right there. But Miles Sanders and Zach Ertz, even Deshaun Jackson, you want to see what they're going to bring. And that defense, I think that defense is going to be just fine. Darius Slay, they traded for him. And, you know, the offense, the D-line is still the same. So, but they brought in Jamar Hare, grown from Pittsburgh Steelers. So I think what they going to do with that defense, but I don't have no win in the NFC East, honestly. But I'm going to move on to the one and only the Dallas Cowboys. I'm going to just be real simple with them. Boom, that you got one of the best running backs in the league. You got one of the top drafted receivers in CD Lamb. I think he's going to make a big impact for this Cowboys team. He could be potentially the number 1 receiver. Amari Cooper is going to be there alongside Michael Gallup, too. So I think they can honestly make some history right here. The first trio with 1,000 yards since the 2008 Cardinals. I think they can make some history right here. They got a fully offensive loaded. They're loaded on both sides of the ball. And they got an experienced coach. Mike McCarthy, they used to coach your great quarterback, Aaron Rodgers. So I'm expecting this Cowboys team to be an elite team in this 2020 season.
Okay, let me start off with the bad in this division. I'm not going to spend too much time on the Washington football team and New York Giants like you did. Let's start off with the Washington football team. This year, Dwyane Haskins has to show that he has promise moving forward. He doesn't have to be spectacular. He's not going to lead the Washington football team to the playoffs or anything like that. He just has to show that he has a promising future. Last year, he had 7 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, over 1,300 passing yards, completed 59% of his passes. Not very impressive, but what was he working with? Not much. And he had a lame duck coach last year, and I don't think that coach wanted him a part of that team. I just don't think he did. I think I'm thinking about who was their coach last year? Man, I can't think of his name. Gruden. Yeah, Jay Gruden. I don't think he never really wanted Haskins to begin with. I like Ron Rivera, though. I think Ron Rivera is the kind of coach that can come in and change your culture. And I think that's what he's going to do with the Washington football team. I don't think Jay Gruden was the coach to do that. I think that's Ron Rivera, and I think he's the kind of coach that can do just that. I like them drafting Chase Young. I think there's a possibility. When we look back on this draft, we might say, even over Tua, even over Joe Burrow, we might actually say Chase Young was the best player in that draft. That's how great Chase Young is. So I like them drafting Chase Young. Now let's get to the New York Giants. They got a new head coach as well in Joe Judge. What the hell is Joe Judge proving? Not much at all. And he's talked about at times in camp about having Daniel Jones get hit in practice. I guess he wants to try to develop his culture and set the tone as a coach. But I don't think that's going to be a recipe for success if you're letting your young quarterback, who's your franchise quarterback, get hit in practice. I don't think that's a recipe for success. Daniel Jones, I need to see him protect the football better this year. Last year, when he got flustered, he fumbled the ball a lot, Clarence, in key moments in games. I think Daniel Jones needs to do a better job of protecting the football and handing the football off to Saquon Barkley. That's all you got to do, Daniel Jones. Get the ball to Saquon and let Saquon make things happen, because that's what he will do with the football. With Saquon Barkley, I think he's one of the best playmakers we have in the NFL. Now, when I talk about the Philadelphia Eagles, last year the Philadelphia Eagles won the division and they were depleted. Deshaun Jackson was injured. He didn't play. They had a ton of injuries on the offensive side of the ball, and they still somehow, some way made the playoffs. And they had no business being there. And I think Carson Wentz is by far the best player in this division at the quarterback spot. Like, I think he's the best quarterback in this division by far, and it's not even close. I also believe that at this moment, Doug Peterson is the best coach in this division. Mike McCarthy had an opportunity to coach Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre. Doug Peterson didn't have that luxury. And guess what? Doug Peterson won a Super Bowl with Nick Foles. And Nick Foles isn't even a starting quarterback in the NFL now. It shows you what kind of coach Doug Peterson is. So I expect the Philadelphia Eagles to play well this year, and I think they're going to be competing at the top of the NFC East with the Dallas Cowboys. They're going to get back Deshaun Jackson. Defensively, you still got Fletcher Cox. You still, you still got some weapons. You know, Brandon Graham at the defensive end spot, who made some plays in that Super Bowl a couple years ago. I like the Philadelphia Eagles team. I just want to see if they can stay healthy, because injuries have always been an issue for this team. Can they stay healthy for the entire season? If they can, they'll have a shot at winning the NFC East. Now, let me get to those Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys offensively have the best team in this division. You have a nice elite receiver in Amari Cooper. You got Michael Gallup, who also can make plays. They brought in CeeDee Lamb, who's going to have a promising career. I like them drafting CeeDee Lamb, and I like that pickup. You got Ezekiel Elliott, who I believe is still a top 5 running back in the NFL. So I like the Cowboys offensively, and I think they're going to put up points. My question for the Cowboys is, can they get stops defensively? That's the problem. Can Sean Lee stay healthy an entire season? He's had his injury issues in the past. Also, you got DeMarcus Lawrence, who can apply pressure to your quarterback. They brought in also, I think, Smith. You know, Alden Smith, he used to play with the San Francisco 49ers. He's going to be a nice addition for that Cowboys defense. They also might at some point sign Earl Thomas, Clarence. I love to see that happen. So I think the Cowboys, they have some nice pieces defensively. They have to be able to get key stops so they can get the ball back for Dak Prescott and that Cowboys offense. So that's my expectations for each team in this division. I think the Cowboys and the Eagles are going to be battling for the NFC East crown.
Yeah, I agree right there. But you can't forget about Everson Griffin that signed with the Cowboys too. That's a big addition too. So they expect a Super Bowl, like right there, right then and there.
Now let me ask you a question. Do you expect to see Jalen Hurts start any games this year for the Eagles?
You know, I don't expect him to start I don't expect him to start no games this year, but I expect him to be in some type of packages like what the New Orleans Saints do with Taysom Hill. I think they should put him in like those type of packages because he's a good runner. He's strong and powerful, and I think he has a bright future in the NFL also. And if Carson Wentz keeps slipping, Jalen Hurts will be right there to take his spot. But I don't think he should have any starts. Now, if Carson Wentz deal with injuries, that's different. But I think they should have like some type of package with him. Like, like they did with the Philly special. I think they should do something similar like that with him because he's athletic. He's an athletic person, and he's a dual threat.
He is a dual threat quarterback. But if you're going to ask the question, do you expect to see Jalen Hurts start any games this year? The first part that has to be answered is, do you expect Carson Wentz to miss any time? Because if you expect Carson Wentz to miss any time, that means you're expecting to see Jalen start a few games this year. If Carson Wentz misses some time. Last year, Carson Wentz had 27 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, had over 4,000 passing yards, completed 64% of his passes, and led a depleted Philadelphia Eagles team to the playoffs. I'm expecting Carson Wentz to be healthy Sunday, and I expect Carson Wentz to play the entire season and be injury-free. Therefore, I don't expect to see Jalen Hurts start any games this year for the Philadelphia Eagles. I expect Carson Wentz to show that he can remain healthy for an entire season, because if he can't be healthy moving forward, the Philadelphia Eagles organization, they're going to wonder if he's their franchise quarterback. If you can't be healthy when a team needs you to be, what kind of value do you add to the team? You have no value. Last year, he played like one snap in a playoff game against the Seattle Seahawks. I love Carson Wentz. I think Carson Wentz, from a talent perspective, is one of the best young quarterbacks we have in the NFL. I think Carson Wentz should be mentioned with Lamar Jackson and Deshaun Watson and Patrick Mahomes, but he can't stay healthy. And that's the issue with Carson Wentz overall. But I expect him to be healthy this year.
Believe it or not, though, I just want to give you a fun fact for the Philadelphia Eagles. Philadelphia Eagles, they was the first, Carson Wentz actually the first quarterback to throw over 4,000 yards, and no receiver had no more than 500 receiving yards. No receiver.
Okay, now let's go to the Cowboys. Under new head coach Mike McCarthy, will the Cowboys live up to expectations?
I think they gonna live up to expectations because they have a lot of weapons on that team that can help live up to the expectation. They're fully loaded. They're elite, and they bringing in CeeDee Lamb. I think that was a brilliant idea to bring in a receiver like that because he's well established. He's a good run after the catch, and he's a future number one receiver. You already got the best running back in the NFL, Ezekiel Elliott. He doesn't miss games over no injuries or nothing, so he's very durable. So you have a reliable quarterback. I think that you have to seriously get Dak Prescott like heavily involved. I know what they be saying, folk like run the ball with Zeke more, but Dak Prescott, he's getting looked at as an elite quarterback. They have to be balanced out this whole season. Their defense is the front seven is fantastic. The secondary is going to scare me a little bit without Byron Jones, and they only got Xavier Woods, and they only got Chuck Anubie. So I think that defense right there is going to be just fine, but the secondary is going to scare me. But they have to live up to the hope. They have a Hall of Famer coach in Mike McCarthy. He has to lead them. In their first game against the LA Rams, he has to show that the Cowboys are here to play, and they're built for these moments.
When you ask the question, will the Cowboys live up to expectations, you have to define what those expectations are. If it's the Cowboys making it to the Super Bowl, that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen, okay? Let me go ahead and let it be known right now and let everyone know, Cowboy Nation out there, hope you're watching Wise Guys on the Worldwide Sports Network. Remember, go and follow Wise Guys on Twitter at WiseGuys_H. Also on Facebook, Wise Guys Cowboy fans. There's a lot of Cowboy fans out there, Clarence. Go and follow our sports page on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. We love y'all. But they ain't winning no Super Bowl this year, and they're not even getting to the Super Bowl. So if your expectation is as a Cowboy fan is for the Cowboys to make it to the Super Bowl, it's not going to happen. Now, if you have expectations for them to get to the playoffs, I believe that can happen. I think they'll have an opportunity to compete for the NFC East crown, and if they don't win the NFC East, they'll compete for an NFC wildcard spot. So I think you have to define your expectations when you say whether or not they can live up to expectations this year under Mike McCarthy. If your expectation is a Super Bowl, it won't happen. But if it's playoffs, it's a possibility it could happen. And let's move on to another NFC championship. Say it again.
At least they in their eyes, they are a team that can make the NFC championship. And the whole NFC division, it's been a toss up. It's been a toss up who's coming out the NFC East. I mean, not the NFC East, just the NFC. I think their expectation is making the NFC conference championship game. And I believe they can make that expectation, but everybody has to play their role.